Podcast. Welcome back to another episode. My guest today is someone I've spoken to before, but this time the roles are reversed. Last time I was a guest on his show called the Psyche and Human Body Podcast, and honestly, those conversations stayed with me. Today, he joins me on the other side of the table, a man who has built himself through discipline, resilience, and an obsession with understanding the human body and mind. A strength and conditioning coach, a high rocks performance coach, a podcaster, a thinker. This is a conversation about identity, about struggle, about becoming the person you know you're capable of being. My guest, Reda Tawakol.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm very happy to be here.
Man, there's so many things that I would love to discuss with you because obviously we've sat down before.
Sure.
I think, 2 years ago?
About around
Yeah.
around that time, yeah.
2 years ago. I'm sure
Awesome.
both of our mindsets were slightly different back then. We were in different phases of life as well. I can't even imagine how much changes within 2 years. Um, you've started doing a lot more things. I changed, transitioned from what I was previously doing. So we'll start off with basics and simple things. Childhood. How was childhood like? Because you're very disciplined, you're into sports, you're very active. All of these things require constant self development
True,
and consistency.
true.
How did that happen? Come to
How
me.
did that happen? So let me take you to my childhood.
Let's go.
So ever since I was a kid, like my dad used to do martial arts. So I think that have drew me into the world of martial arts because of my dad. So I wanted to be as him. So he always used to tell me on how strong he used to be and about the competitions, and so on. I was like, oh, okay, I want to be like that as well. So by the age of 5, I started doing martial arts
Right.
by then. And I think I used to be an angry kid. Like I used to have this rage or anger, let's say, where every time I go and train, I release it and I feel good after.
Fair enough.
So it used to be like my drug, let's put it in that way. So from then, I kept on doing martial arts up to the age of 18. And by the age of 18, when I got into university, that's where I got introduced into lifting and the gym and the world of powerlifting and so on. So I dropped martial arts for a bit because I found, let's say, lifting is a little bit more challenging for me at that point, and maybe because I got a little bit bored of martial arts for a while. So from the age of 18 up until now, all that I've been doing is training between powerlifting, strength and conditioning, and now most recently in high rocks. So when it comes to discipline, to your point, I think there was like a changing point in my life when I was a kid, and that is my dad used to be also obese at a point in time.
Interesting.
So my mom had this one day where she told me like, I never want you to be like your dad, as in when it comes to obesity. So I don't know, for some reason that stuck in my mind. And I used to see him like eating a lot of fried foods and so on back then. So in my mind, I was like, so fried food equal bad. So I started like dropping those ever since a young age.
Wow.
Because I just didn't want to be like my dad when it comes to obesity because of what my mom told me.
Right.
And it got stuck with me ever since. And from then, like, as you grow, you just want to enhance on something that it feels good for you. So for me, like every time I go train, I feel good. And via time, you just want to chase that dopamine rush more and more as you grow. And you want to enhance it. So that's where I started, let's say, reading, learning more about it, and getting into the science behind it as I grew older.
Right.
And in university, I don't say that I studied, tell me,
So where was all of this happening? Back home or
here
here?
in the UAE.
You've been here since the beginning.
So I came here with my family in 1997.
Oh, wow.
I left Syria by the age of 3.
Wow.
And I was here like almost by 3:30, 3.5, and to 4 years old.
Right. Fair
So
enough.
ever here ever since 1997.
Nice.
So by the time that I got to university, I wouldn't say that I studied business administration. I would say that I studied sports science and nutrition, because while everyone was just studying in their university, I was either training in the gym alone
Right.
or just reading science and learning more about the topic.
Interesting. Because not many people at that time were into sports sciences.
True.
Very, very limited people. Me, myself, when I was studying in London, we were doing what when you can't do anything, I think people do business administration. So, so,
True.
so I was doing business administration,
Yeah.
and one of my friends, he was studying sports science.
Hmm?
So I had no clue that I would go on and study anything about
Yeah.
fitness. So when you were doing sports sciences, naturally, because of your sports background and everything, were you playing any sports within the teams or representing something?
No, not back then, up until I got to university. So in university, when I started lifting,
Yeah.
the coach came to me once and he was like, okay, how about we prepare you for powerlifting competitions on the university levels? I was like, okay, why not? So I started preparing for powerlifting competitions. For those who don't know, it's like the maximum bench press, deadlifts, and squats.
Right.
And so he, let's say, took me and he was like my mentor, I would say, and he started teaching me more into that. And I started competing in the university level, and I took a couple of competitions over there in double divisions. And then when I left university, I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, I mean, I have nothing against, let's say, studying business again, but I mean, it's not what I want to do later on in life. I don't see
Fair enough.
myself in it. You know, it's like I've been programmed since I was a kid into training, and it's like always in my DNA. And like something in the back of my mind was like, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. So even though after I graduated from university, I worked in, let's say, different sectors where they are not related to fitness at the beginning, but it was always in my mind. Like, oh, I always felt like something is missing. So I was like, okay, I have to deviate into there bit by bit. So while I was, let's say, working in different sectors, let's say to have some money to pay the bills, let's
Fair.
say, I was also practicing and studying more into fitness and slowly transitioning to get out of the bubble of work, which I don't really enjoy.
Fair.
Up until it came to a point where I was like, okay, now I can do it. So here we are. I took the chance, and now, like, we're 8, 9 years old after. So here we are.
Because you did mention that you worked in admin, sales, etc.
Correct.
So how are you managing to, obviously, time is of the essence, as people say, and working admin and sales, especially in the Gulf, there's long hours,
True.
and if you're already tired and you're mentally fatigued, and even through all of that, consistency for fitness remain. How are you managing all of that with your diets, with your workouts? Did you not ever feel that many people say burnout?
Of
Did you
course.
ever come across those feelings?
Of course. Many times. Many times. But I don't know why, but for some reason, like, when you have a goal by the end of the tunnel, you just don't care about being tired meanwhile. Like, if you have something that you're looking up to and you're like, okay, you become like a machine somehow. You become like an automated machine. You wake up in the morning, you do the same thing. So I used to wake up, prepare my food, Tupperwares, go to work, finish work, go to training, train, then come back and sleep and repeat. So when you have a goal, you become like an automated machine. You just keep on repeating. You keep on repeating. And the most, let's say, pleasure that I used to get is that when I used to be very busy or when I had to travel, for example,
Right.
and you still have to keep that methodology and lifestyle.
That lifestyle, you need to keep it
That's where
wherever you
it
go.
becomes really, like, let's say, a tough challenge.
Yes.
Because that's where, like, most of the people would be like, oh, it's too much. Why am I doing this? And that's where, if you are following a passion or if you're following a hobby for fun, differentiates people.
Very interesting. People don't know the difference between the two.
Exactly.
Go on.
So, for example, like for me, I had a vision for it. Like, I was like, this is how I become, let's say, happy living. Like, this is what I would love to do on my life. So, in order for me to get there, I just have to keep on pursuing, keep on pursuing. But for some other people, it might be like a fun thing. It give me a little bit of a rush, but only if I have the time for it. It's not a priority. So I used to, for example, alter my day upon my priority. So my training was my number one priority.
Fair.
So I had to do training no matter what. Early morning, late at night, I just to have to cross it off my day.
Fair enough.
But for, let's say, people who are not very passionate about it or who are doing it for fun, they might put it on the list of the day. If it came, so be it. If I felt tired, I might not go today.
It's
I might
not
do
a
it some other day.
priority. It's
It's
low.
not a priority.
It might be, but it's just so much more lower on the priority list.
Correct.
You, since you say this, do you agree that motivation is only
Part of it.
A very
Very part of it.
small part of it.
Very small part
Because
of it.
progress and growth in any sphere of life or any aspect does not depend on motivation. I think it's consistency.
I think discipline and consistency are the key. Like motivation might spark, let's say, the fire.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, I saw someone, I like what he's doing, and I'm motivated.
Yep, yep.
But what keeps you on that track is discipline and consistency.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, like after have been training almost all my life, like when everybody comes and talk to me and they're like, "What's the secret?" I'm like, "Trust me on this. It's consistency.
Consistency.
It's consistency.
Mhm.
It's when you're feeling tired, you just do it. When you're feeling good, you do it, no matter what. And it doesn't have to be perfect every time. Just going for whatever goes on that day, like trying to ignore all the feelings, whatever is going on in your mind, just go for it. Do it. It's not always going to feel good, but consistency is the key. Because breaking through those hard days, very tough days,
Yes,
is going to make the other days very more pleasurable.
absolutely. You've been doing mashallah coaching now for over 10 years.
Correct.
People train for fun.
True.
I've seen some of your videos. You train for survival. I've seen the intensity. Yes. And so, what is that passion or that drive to show up in every session? Like you just said, of course, consistency, but there has to be something. Is it like meditation for you? Is it what? Is it therapy? What is it?
Yes. So some people, like when I first went to the gym, like in some new gyms, like when I move from one gym to the other,
Right.
and they see me training, they're like, "Oh, why is this guy like so egocentric and he doesn't talk to anyone?" I'm like, then because like when I go there, I usually like cover myself
Right.
and I close and like go into like very focused mode,
Right.
and I just wanna be in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Some days it's like therapy, and some days it's like I wanna break something where it's a hard day and I just wanna break it. Because in my mind, not everybody can do this, and it feels good when I can.
Fair.
So there's a pleasure to doing something which others can't.
Absolutely.
So somehow it differentiates you in a society, and you can see it when you are in a community where others come and approach you and they trust your intuition about this topic. You become like a source where people trust. So you become responsible to the community that you are in somehow.
Yes.
You become like a teacher or a coach
People
in
look
that
up to
thing.
you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you have to always be the best so they can look up to you.
Agreed.
So you have to always perform the best when it's good, when it's bad, because this is the advice that you are giving. So you have to be the role model for it somehow.
It's very interesting when you say that because I have come across moments when people say that, you give somewhat great advice sometimes, but you don't follow it. So I end up saying that coaches don't play. we coach, but we can tell you how to do it, how to execute, etc. But it's down to the person themselves. Coming across so many people that you train with, you coach with, every personality is different.
Very true.
How do you manage to keep them motivated? Because I'm sure it's not a one size fit all. Different personalities, different characters. You have to approach slightly differently and get those energy levels moving. And of course, once they naturally see the coach executing everything and they see that difference, you create that drive in
Yes.
them. How do you consistently manage to do that?
True. And that's almost like the essence, like, or this is where you can differentiate between like a good coach and a bad coach. Everyone is driven by a different factor. So you need to know the person in front of you. You need to know the member or the client, or I would call them friends, which I teach. You need to understand what drives them. Why are they training? What's the goal behind it? What are they looking up to get into? And then use those goals which they want as a drivers to be able to keep on motivating them.
We used to call them hotspots. You used to find those pain points.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, for example, some people might have a goal of, let's say, achieving a 5K record, for example. Why? Why do you want to achieve the 5K record? So there's always a reason. Maybe he's like, people used to tell me I can't, and I want to break them, or I want to break that, let's say, idea in them, and I want to show them that I can. So, okay, now you have a trigger point.
Yes.
So that's a trigger point in someone.
Mm-hmm.
A mom who's very busy and like she doesn't like the way she looks right now and she wants to feel better. Okay, so let's work on that. If you don't want to, like, for example, look that way, then let's try to work on this, take care of diet, blah, 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 and so on. So everybody have like a different motivation. Everybody have a different trigger.
Right.
And you need to get into the psyche a little bit of people. You need to be like their therapist in a way,
You're good with
in a
that.
good way.
We'll talk about that as well. Since you said psyche right now, it just hit me. That's the name of his podcast, by the way, the Psyche and
Psyche and
Human
Human
Body
Podcast,
podcast. Yeah,
correct.
we'll definitely come to that. But
Sure.
because you see, you come across so many people and on both sides. So when you sit and discuss with them on your podcast, and obviously when you're training them, so you're coming across two different environments.
True.
You know, the same people might be very different in two different environments. So how does that sometimes surprise you when you get to see a totally different character or personality traits
You know,
of the human?
it's like you're working with a colleague and you see them at work
Yeah.
and you go out for a drink with them, for example. It's
Okay.
something else entirely. So the character for some people inside the gym or as members or clients sometimes is different as when you are talking to them and there's a goal in mind. Like as much as you like can't control, but there's always some filtrations on your character when you are in a certain setting
Okay.
because of acceptable ways that the society might accept in that certain scenario. For example, let's say, for example, in a gym, maybe a short and a cut t-shirt would be acceptable, but in an interview, it's not.
Absolutely.
So in a way, you had to
Situational
filter.
awareness.
Yeah, exactly. So, but most generally, let's say for the majority of the people, in the gym, outside the gym, there would be like slight differences, but I would see a bigger difference in someone who have a different goal or a different mindset.
Right.
Sometimes they like impersonate a different character in a gym to, you know, as they say, fake it till you make it. So
Yes.
sometimes people have to like play a different role in their mind.
They do.
They have to go into a certain place in their mind to fit into that situation, to get the drive.
Yes.
So for example, for me, when I go to the gym, like I lock down and I like go خلاص into a survival mode. I have to do it. Like when I work with my coach, he gives me, for example, a certain paces, numbers, ways that I have to lift. And in my mind, no matter what, I'm gonna lift it. Like
You
this
lock
is it.
down.
I have to do it.
Yeah.
Feel good, feel bad, it doesn't matter. How I feel comes after. I don't care about it. So in the gym, you have to somehow like tweak your mind. And outside of the gym, okay, you relax, you change, you go into more chill, relaxing kind of a manner, and you go along the day.
Ladies and gentlemen, coaches need coaches.
Yes, coaches needs coaches, definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
If fitness never found you or you never found fitness, vice versa, what would Rida be doing right now?
I've been asking myself the same question. I honestly don't know. Because like when I was a kid, in addition to wanting to like be into the world of fitness, I always wanted to be a fighter jet pilot.
Oh, interesting.
But when we were going to university, like I spoke to my family and we wanted to go into an aviation school, but I didn't go into it because it had a high cost of insurance for the planes
Yes.
that you're going to be training on, which we couldn't afford back then.
Fair.
So that's why I had to go into this path. Now, let's say if fitness didn't find me, honestly, I don't know where I would have been. So the question now here is it, did I choose it or did it choose me? Or was it fate that put me into that path? And how would life would have been different if I didn't? Because I've been asking myself this question many times now recently, and I honestly don't know where life would have been or how my life would have been like into a different scenario. But I would say that I love where I am right now, and I hope that I can keep on doing this till ever. And you know, it's not about also like some people might be like, I want to do this to be richer and have a fancy life and so on. But I've been telling my mother and friends all this time, if I wake up every day having a place to train in, place to sleep in, food in my belly, I would be the happiest man alive. And being able to teach this. Like, because also when you teach something that you love to a community, you can see like a ripple effect. Everyone around you start becoming happier and better.
They
And
feel it.
and they feel it.
Mm-hmm.
They feel if you are really passionate about something or if you're just doing it for the sake of money. Like there's a very big difference between
Mm-hmm.
someone who likes something and teaches it because they really love it, and they're doing it for the sake of, let's say, treating this person in front of you as a client only or as a money machine.
However, when you say that, l- most of them, I think I've come across a lot when back in my days when I used to be a trainer, there's very interesting personalities, right? So some of them do it for the monetary aspect,
True.
right? And those are the trainers where you see the training systems are the same. It's
True.
just they keep doing the same thing with all the clients,
Yeah.
which is what I feel destroys the experience for the client,
True.
right?
That's where you see the client retention.
Yes.
That's where the client retention comes in.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at a trainer,
Mm-hmm.
I bet you that a trainer with a high client retention is doing something that he loves.
And he's doing something different slightly.
Correct.
Yep.
And they are taking more care of the person in front of them, and they are listening to what they want,
Mm-hmm.
not what he or she wants.
Correct.
Because every trainer, they will approach the member or the client with an image that they want to have their client in.
Mm-hmm.
But the trick is to listen to what the client wants. And that's where you can play on what drives them to continue.
Fair.
Because if you keep on feeding their inner drive,
Mm-hmm.
that's where you can keep them going. And you have to make it fun along the way. It's not only discipline all the time. Because you need to take into consideration that some sessions have to be just to release stress,
Yes.
just for fun,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just to talk.
Mm.
Not every session has to be hard
Yes.
and intense. No, man, you're going to break the person in front of you.
Correct.
It has to be fun a little bit. So you have to talk, you have to understand, you have to be a friend to the people in front of you. In the end, they're humans.
Yes, at the end of the day. And I think the people who, you do personal training with, you do become sort of I wouldn't necessarily say therapist, but rather a person who they can speak with.
True.
They can, because they're in a very vulnerable position in the sense that, they might be very shy, timid, etc., etc., where some people might make fun of their physique while you're the one who's appreciating that effort they're putting into changing that physique. So they are obviously dependent to you for both the things: pep talks, nutrition, guidance, etc. You run a podcast named
Psyche and
the
human body
Psyche and
podcast.
Human Body
Correct.
podcast. What made you venture from exploring yourself in fitness, your discipline, etc., to going into exploring others' mindset?
I think this is the beauty of life. Like, this is the beauty of humanity, let's say, or humans. Like, everybody have a story. Everyone out there, they have a story, they have an experience, and listening to it will add something to the society that we are in, whether you agree or disagree with it. So, for example, I think most of us have grew on bedtime stories or books and so on. So in every story, there's like something that you took, which, oh, okay, I can relate to this.
There would
And
always be morals to the stories.
yes, there's
Yeah.
always a moral to the story. Maybe you would listen to a 3 hours podcast and it would be all boring. And then, like, 1 minute, there's something that clicks with you.
Catches you.
And
Yeah.
then, oh, it's worth it. Okay, now this, I learned something from it and I can add to the toolbox of Reda, for example, and the society. Because again, when I'm learning from everyone around me, I can reflect that on the society which I'm in. Because just like I'm a student, I'm also a teacher. So I would learn and reflect that into the society. So what made me do it is I always see that health, nutrition, being strong physically, mentally has a very positive impact in the society that we are in right now and for our kids and future generations later on. And I honestly believe that stronger humans are way better off than a weaker one. You would be more confident, more clarity in your mind clarity, and you would be able to perform better on a daily basis, take better decisions, and you would relieve stress. And stress in, let's say, the fast-paced environment of a life that we're living right now,
Yeah.
if you talk to anyone, they're always like suffering from anxiety, depression, pressure of family, work, and so on. And this can be the best
Eliminated.
medication,
It can be,
the
absolutely.
best medication. Because, like, if you look at all the studies right now,
Yeah.
none of them say that working out is bad. All of them say they have very positive impacts.
Yes.
So why not? So I started the podcast to listen from experts in that field and reflect on their knowledge to the people around me and to try to drive them into a better and a healthier life. And because it's fun for me as well to get to know people and listen to their stories.
I remember when I sat down with you, I think initially we were planning to speak for an hour. It went
Yeah,
on and on,
true.
but it was a very interesting chat. We spoke about Spock. My goodness, my English. We spoke about so many things. What was one of those things that sort of stayed with you from that conversation? Because your conversation definitely stayed with me. And there was a lot of things that while speaking, you start reflecting.
True.
While you're present in the moment, you know, you start thinking that, oh wow, I never looked at these things this way.
True.
And in that moment, you start discovering a lot about yourself as well.
True. One of the major things that I remember from our conversation is expectations to life, like managing expectations. For example, if you, let's say, are approaching someone to sell them something, if you give them a very high expectation and then you cannot deliver, they're gonna shy out from you. They're not gonna be able to trust you anymore. And this you can apply on everything in life. So whenever you want to do anything in life, try to manage your expectations. Don't jump so high if you can't achieve it. Let's say, see, like write some goals, like try to draw a plan to get there, because you will feel better when you achieve small goals,
Small wins,
small
absolutely.
wins, compared to having like a big one and you keep on have to go for it and you cannot achieve it. Then you're gonna be demotivated. And then maybe by the mid of the road, you're like, okay, I'm so tired, I can't do it anymore, and you drop it.
Yeah.
But it might be like the best thing that you didn't get to. So small goals would get you there in a better way.
Absolutely.
So I would say managing expectations was a very big, let's say, advice that I took from our conversation back then.
One of the things I learned from BBA, one of the many, I didn't learn a lot of things, but one of the things that I did learn was goals should be smart. And I started applying that. So, for example, SMART was it should be specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time constrained.
True.
The moment you apply this concept to something and you break it down and you feel good that you keep adding, it's like adding bricks to a wall,
True.
brick by brick. Absolutely.
You know, man, like this, you can see also now into the world of social media. You
Yeah.
can reflect this onto the world of social media. Because when you open now, let's say Instagram, for example, everyone posts their happy life. Everyone posts their success points. But they don't show you all, let's say, the struggles or the mini goals which they achieved, let's say, along the way.
Yeah.
So for a newcomer, when they open social media and see how people are living a good life, happy life, everyone is smiling and so on, they're like, okay, I'm doing what they're doing. I think that I'm doing what they're doing, but I'm not there. So you become depressed, you become anxious.
Yes.
So
Managing expectations.
exactly, managing
Yeah,
expectations.
I think people get easily influenced,
True,
and what they see is, like you said, they see it out of context,
true,
and then envy sets in to a certain degree, maybe a low self-esteem sometimes, maybe misunderstanding of the situation sometimes, that, oh, how come he's doing it, I'm doing the same thing, but you don't really know what he's doing.
true.
You see just a tiny picture of the entire recipe.
You see the end result. You only see the end result.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that comparison is like a poison. Like you shouldn't
Yes.
compare yourself every time to everyone around you.
You cannot.
You are not in the same position. You don't know their environment, their background, what they've been through. Maybe their conditions are set. They came in the right time. They had the right people around them. Maybe you didn't, but maybe you are set to a different thing. So my advice would be to people is don't compare yourself,
Yes.
even when it comes to sport. Like when you see, for example, a great athlete achieving great numbers,
Yep.
you're like, why I can't do this? And you keep on working for that. And you're like, no. Let's, for example, now some of my high-risk athletes, they ask me, should we go for it? Should we try it? It's hard. What do you think? I'm like,
Right.
go for it. Every time you just have to compete with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
that applies to me. I'm also surrounded by great athletes,
Mm-hmm.
but if every time I need to look up to them and how they are doing things I'm like, I'm gonna just stress myself.
Yes.
I need to compete with myself. This is my number
Mm-hmm.
because this is my situation. This is my life. And these are my conditions. And within these conditions, if I can, let's say, improve on that, good, I'm on the right track.
You've done podcasts, you've been sitting with people for almost 2 years now. That's a lot of episodes. How does it feel today to be the guest?
It feels strange somehow. Like I'm the first time on the other end of the podcast, but this in the same side, my good side. So yeah, I'm just saying, yeah, it feels nice actually.
See, when naturally you are a role model for so many people, knowingly and unknowingly. Obviously, the clients that come to you, they want to learn and pick up your guidance from your experience, everything. That comes with a lot of responsibility,
True,
right? What you're saying, how you're behaving,
true.
what you're eating. Do you feel at any capacity that it's limiting
Mm,
sometimes?
I see your point.
Yeah.
Like I think, let me just rephrase the question to make sure that I got it right.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's limiting where I have to limit my behavior in the society, or like I have to, for example, act in a certain way to reflect the image that I am going for?
To a certain degree, yes,
Exactly.
absolutely. It goes both, especially in society, what you're eating, what you're saying,
True,
how you're
true,
behaving, that
true,
you cannot just be
true,
how you would be with your, let's say, with your
true,
boys when you're hanging
true,
around,
true.
you know?
For those who know me, like if you spoke to them, they would tell you that like I always speak my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like whatever I do, I always advise the people around me to do. So for example, let's take it into the concept of diet.
Mm-hmm.
When I talk to, let's say, my clients, members, friends, and so on, they're like, okay, diet, what should we eat, and so on. I'm like, okay, let's take it to the basics. Start with the basic things. Try to eat naturally as much as you can. And
What
they're
is
like, okay,
naturally? Naturally
what is
eating
naturally?
healthy food or?
Healthy food. Let's
Okay,
say,
fair
yeah,
enough.
healthy food. Let's say, for example, the basics,
Mm.
things that you can hunt, harvest,
Okay, fair.
things, let's say, that are not processed in a way. Let's say fruits, vegetables, meat, eggs, fish,
Mm.
and so on and so forth. I'm like, and they're like, okay, but I crave this and I crave that and
Mm.
so on. I'm like, okay, it's totally fine. You're a human. I crave them as well. But if you want to eat them, let's put it in this way. Maybe if you do a very good week of a training and diet, let's take one day off. Why not?
Why not?
You're a human. If you feel the craving for it on a daily basis, then maybe let's eat, for example, if you eat 5 meals a day, let's have four of them as good, one as, let's say, indulge your cravings.
Yes,
Why
fair
not?
enough.
So the point is, try to find the best path for you that keeps you on this path for a long time, for a
Sustainable as much
sustainable.
as it can be.
You don't have to be very rigid into your, let's say, concept of training and food and so on, because in the end of the day, you're in a society, family, friends, work, they sometimes become overwhelming. So if you feel like eating this, it's okay, eat it and don't feel bad about it. But wake up next day, it's a new day. Let's start a new day and start going back into the track. Now, to your question of how does that reflect me
Mm-hmm.
on in this society?
Yeah.
I do what I usually tell them to do. So for example, if they usually ask me, what's your favorite cheat meal? I'm like,
Mm.
this. They're like, do you eat it? I'm like, yeah, sometimes I eat it.
What is your favorite cheese meal?
Actually, I'm a big fan of lasagna and pizza.
Okay.
I love those. So if you ever want to treat me for those.
See, but you work out a lot, so you can definitely indulge on those high carb
Sure,
meals.
sure. And hey, in the end, by the way, like I'm a big fan of carbs and I eat a lot of carbs.
Mm-hmm.
So for those who say like don't eat carbs and so on, I'm again in the right context, it's totally
It's
fine.
fine.
In
Yes.
the wrong context, where you eat processed sugars on a daily basis and you neglect, let's say, the majority of your meals and food to be bad, then that's where it becomes an issue. So I think that going into an approach where it's sustainable, the best approach.
All right.
Because I also had some clients where they were like, at the beginning, Reda, we just want you to teach us how to train. Don't touch my food. I was like, done. If this is what it takes, done. But after a while, they came to me and they were like, okay, now I feel good about what we're doing. How can we enhance it? Tell me about the food.
So you
I'm like,
slowly
okay,
start to incorporate things here and there.
here and there, small baby steps.
Yes.
We don't have to do big changes. I'm like, okay, walk me through your day. What do you eat? They're like, I eat this, this, and that. I'm like, okay, good. Let's add, for example, this, take out this for the next week. And they do it. After a week, are you good? I'm good. Okay, let's make a different change. So you take baby steps because people hate big changes.
Yes. They can be very resistant to it.
Very true.
Yes.
Like because we have been programmed to do something every day in, day out. So when somebody comes to them and they don't trust yet, maybe they're new clients, and I'm like, do this. This is the only way. They're like, oh, no, I can't.
They retaliate.
I can't. So baby steps, very small steps that fits into their lifestyle.
Fair. Now, during all of this, you put expectations on yourself as well. Do you feel it can be, as humans, the
Sure.
human aspect, it can be very draining sometimes,
Sure.
but that also depends from personality to personality. So do you feel that you put on yourself some expectations or self-criticism in a productive way? Because everybody has those inner drives. Like, for example, I criticize myself a lot, and that's my way of getting the best out of myself. However, if I criticize somebody else, that might not be the most productive approach. So you need to know what works. So does it drain you sometimes? What are those expectations you put on yourself?
Very true. Like I think my self best criticism, like criticizer, like or let's say I criticize myself the most. So let's take it into this way. I'm gonna tell you how I grew into this.
Go on.
So back then, when I started going into nutrition and food and what's good and what's bad. So the idea back then was that fats are bad, you need to eat sugars and so on. And I was like, that's early in the days. They were like,
Right.
fat is bad. That's the
Yeah.
idea. So for me, okay, fat is bad, zero fats. I'm not gonna eat any fats. So I used to eat only protein and sometimes carbs, and that's it.
Cool. Fair.
Then growing into it, and I was like because when I do something and like I just that's it, that's the end of it. I'm gonna do this all my life.
Okay.
Then I started going in and I was like, okay, this is not sustainable. It's draining me. It's draining my energy. I was like, okay, maybe there's a different approach. So let's try something else. So I started, for example, incorporating different foods to try to change my mind.
Right.
And I was like, okay, it feels good. And my body isn't changing in a bad way. So let's keep that. So my expectations have changed as I change in life. As I got to know different people, as I got to know, let's say, different scenarios and what works best for me
Yes.
at a certain place.
It's all trial and error. We eventually
Exactly.
understand. Yeah.
So also at a point in my life, I was a vegan for a while because I
You
thought
were
that
a vegan as well.
Exactly. I was a vegan as well. And I used to think that this is the best way. And when I tried it, I was like, oh, it doesn't feel good as well. So let's deviate from it. Let's try this and try that. And I started also like adding some meat and so on and so forth. And now I'm in a point where like I can see that balance is the best option for me right now. So my point is being rigid is not sustainable, will break you.
Yeah.
As strong as of a will you are, you can be stubborn. And I would call it stubbornness. Yeah, I used to be very stubborn. But
I would call it headstrong.
yeah, our heads.
Yeah.
But it didn't get me where I wanted to be
Fair.
because I was plateauing,
Limiting yourself.
stopping.
Yeah.
And when I used to talk to people around me, they're like, we do this and this and that. But I'm like, I don't do that. So maybe if I do this, I'm going to be like them. So let's try it. So that comes to my point. Being so rigid is not the best option all the time. It's good sometimes if you have a goal that you want to get to.
Fair.
But you also have to be a little bit malleable along the way
Fair enough.
and change as, let's say, the environment changes around you and as your body changes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be it.
It's very interesting. While you were saying, I just remembered one of the conversation, one of the things that we spoke. You asked me, I will ask you the same question.
Ask me.
You said that from what you said, seems like you too have a extremist factor.
Yes.
Yeah. And how does it work in your favor or does it work against you? I believe that what is our blessing is also the curse. So the same thing which is a blessing is also the curse, because people, it many times it works in your favor, many times it doesn't.
True.
So it can be being headstrong, it can be being stubborn, it can be being focused, because all of these things come at a cost.
True. Sacrifice. You sacrifice. Like being headstrong, as you said it. For example, when I used to go out with my friends, like it used to limit my social life. Because let's say if we're in a restaurant setting, you can't be like as the society or as your friends, because you're in my mind, I need to do this, eat this and that, and that's the way it is.
Fair enough.
So there are some sacrifices to being headstrong, but again, in a good setting, it might get you somewhere.
Yes.
But again, the question is when enough is enough.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know.
You know, that's a question that's also on my mind. Like, I'm like, if I stayed stubborn into my conceptions, would I have got here? Or maybe if, like, I mean, is it the way, stubbornness or being headstrong about a certain topic, or you need to adapt to the environment and the factors and external factors around you, let's say? So, it's a very, like, when enough is enough.
Because see, enough is you can never really find out when enough is enough, because so you think this is enough, you reach that,
Yeah,
and then you're like, oh, there's still some more space, I can push that limit. When you reach there, you already, now your mind has changed, your body's changed, you in general you're a slightly different person.
but
You're
can we
thinking
can we
differently.
say that then in that context, can we say that being focused on a goal will always get you a positive impact or a
Being focused,
positive
yes.
outcome?
If you have that, what do you call, sniper approach, you keep pushing the limit as much as, like, for example, maybe a few years ago, the 100-meter record was something else. And then Usain Bolt, he kept breaking his own record.
True.
Justin Gatlin came along, Johan Blake. And in the future, somebody else might break it as well.
True.
Because that just shows the amount of focus
Yeah.
going in. But of course, it's coming at a huge cost as well.
The sacrifice that you're doing
sacrifices
along
they
the way,
put, yeah, absolutely.
family, friends, and so on. And then the question here that asks itself is, up until when you can keep on focus into that and sacrificing all this time with the people around you? Because by the end of the day, let's say if I talk right now to someone who's like, let's say 80, 90 years old, I'm like, what's the one thing that you would have done differently about your life? Most of them would be like, I would have spent more time with my friends and family and enjoyed life more.
This is such a debatable topic.
And
This is, oh, my goodness, spending time with family and friends. I really think
for
that,
some, if that's something that they enjoy, let's say.
Yeah,
Let's say
absolutely.
that's something that they enjoy and that's why they chose this answer. But again, like for example, if I ask you when you're 80 and 90, like what's the one thing that you would have done more if you can? You might give me a different answer. What would you give me?
I would see, I've read and seen so many such things, right? When you ask these people who've lived a great life, right? And then you go back to them and say, what would you have done differently? And they go like, spend more time with family. But then you wouldn't be the same person. You get
That you are right now, because
Yeah, those experiences and everything, as unfortunate as it sounds and very harsh, it's not sustainable, to be honest. They are the ones who end up saying that, yeah, I would advise you to have more time with family. That's great. It's brilliant advice. Brilliant advice. But then it's coming at a totally different cost.
different cost. There's an opportunity cost for it. So you're
Absolutely.
sacrificing something else.
Yeah. But then I think it's good advice. It's good for people who, I wouldn't say that, who want to achieve less. Of course, you can achieve more if you really push the limits, and if you can Regardless, when people say that money is not important, I believe money is super important, because then it suddenly enables you
To do more things,
to,
to enjoy life
yes,
more.
yes, to spend
Gives you
more time with your
freedom.
family. So it gives you a lot more freedom. So people, please work hard, try to earn more money ethically as much as possible. The key word here is ethically. So yeah, don't just do
Ethically.
something wrong. So yeah. But then, cool. You've been doing all of this. You come across so many people. Now, what you do is a very giving sort of industry. You give a lot of energy. You give a lot of energy without getting anything back. People speak about burnout. I think that we are not candles, unfortunately. Cool. So that we can burn out. But but I totally understand that you can be fatigued.
Yeah,
You can be tired. How
true,
do you deal when you come across those days? Like we were speaking right
true,
outside before we started. You said, yeah, now sometimes I need my own time where I can just switch
true.
off and
100%.
rejuvenate.
100%. Okay, let me tell you about the most satisfying aspect of
Hmm.
what I do.
Yeah.
So, for example, when somebody comes to me and I give them an advice, and they're like a week or two after, they're like, "Oh, Reda, we've been doing this, what you told us, and it's working, and I feel better." I'm like, "Perfect. That's really good." So that is one aspect where like your advice, your like whatever you taught this person in front of you reflects positively on their life, and they come and being thankful for
Hmm.
it, and that feels really good. This is one of the main reasons why like I think I'm driven to do this also as a
Hmm.
teacher.
Fair.
Speaking of the burnout,
Hmm.
I try to have certain time of the day where it's just for me.
Hmm.
So for example, I wake up very early, and the early time of the day is like a time where I recharge sometimes.
Fair.
Like I have this hour where I keep my phone off, everything off. It's just for me to calibrate, as they say. Mid of the day, I usually also like try to have a time for my own, like an
Hmm.
hour in the day, where I just also disconnect and try to meditate, like be in my thoughts to recalibrate. Now, speaking of that, my advice would be like, you can work really hard
Hmm.
when you have to work,
Hmm.
but when it's time for you to take a break,
Yes.
hit the brakes.
Fair.
Hit the brakes and don't be shy about it.
Hmm.
Don't be shy about it. Like whether it's work, for example, clients, members, and so on, tell them, please, I love you all, I respect it, but I need some time for me so I can
Absolutely.
reflect better on you later on.
Fair.
Because as much as you love what you're doing,
Hmm.
you need your time because you
Fair.
need to be in your own thoughts.
Yes.
If you don't, you're gonna miss yourself.
Hmm.
Like sometimes I honestly just miss sitting and watching a movie, like doing something boring
Hmm.
to clear my mind. Some days, like for weeks, I don't get this at all. Like I wake up
Yes.
at 4, come back at 9 p.m., and I sleep and I go back every day, the same
Hmm.
thing, in and out, in and out. And if I don't take these short breaks in between
Hmm.
in the day, I would not be able to keep, let's say, my positivity
Fair.
around me
Hmm.
to a certain extent. Maybe I would keep it for a while,
Yeah.
but then it's going to start showing that, okay, he's burning out.
Hmm.
He's burning out. He's not doing good when he's teaching.
He's not
He's
that
bored.
focused anymore. He's bored,
He's bored,
disengaged.
disengaged, not doing it with the flavor that he used to do in.
Right.
So you need to miss what you're doing as
Hmm.
well
Hmm.
sometimes. So, as in at work, when you're at work,
Yeah.
you get tired, you take a break, you take a week off, then you come back more excited. You become, let's say,
I
more
don't know. I
eager
don't
to
know
work.
about how many people come back excited to
I know.
work.
To a certain extent, let's say, to a certain extent.
But then see what he said. This shows a lot of discipline, right? And it takes a second for this discipline to be misunderstood.
True.
How do you deal with people who go like, oh, you're always in the gym, or I used to go through
I
that a
get
lot.
that a lot.
Yeah.
I get that a
They
lot.
go like, people stopped inviting me outside.
Yes,
Because every
very
time,
true.
every time if they'll go like, yeah, we're going out, I'm like, my workout, and then
I
I have to wake up
know.
in the morning, I have to get my meals in.
The exact same thing, man. Like even my best friends, like I mean, they are my brothers. I love them,
Yeah.
and also they get to a point where like, man, we don't invite you because like every
Because you're never
time
gonna show up.
you're never gonna show up, and if you're gonna show up, you're always thinking, when are you gonna sleep? What do you need to eat? What time do you have to leave?
Because you exactly what time you'll have to
Exactly.
leave. You'll come in and you're like, yeah, guys, I have to excuse myself. Oh my
So
goodness.
yeah. So again, we go back to the point of sacrifice,
Yeah.
but that's where, let's say, you should surround yourself with people that truly love you,
Mm-hmm.
which they know why you're doing this and they understand and they just love you for who you are. And this also reflects, by the way, in relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Because even like when I usually get into relationships, this also is a limiting factor.
Interesting.
Because you have to find a partner that also fits that criteria
Interesting.
when it comes to being disciplined,
Yeah.
to food,
Yeah.
to training,
Mm.
sleeping, and all of
Yeah.
this. And that's a very small niche of people
Yeah. Who can
who
understand
can
that?
understand that
Yeah.
and who can sustain that,
Mm-hmm. Who can support that
who can
with
support
you?
that,
Interesting.
unless they are also in the same, let's say, environment of a life
Fair.
in a certain way.
Yeah.
Because if you are with a partner, for example, that is so out of context of this life,
Yes.
it's going to be hard for you to spend time together. And
Mm-hmm.
I face that as well.
Yeah.
So discipline also reflects on every aspect in your life.
Yes.
So again, the question that begs itself is it worth it?
Mm-hmm. Is
That's
it?
for me so far it is. Only because like I'm living the best time of my life and I can be and more grateful and let's say
Because see,
I'm doing what I really like.
yeah,
So
but
that's
and you also need to understand that when you said that it's worth it for me, it should always be worth it for the person in question. Why? Because if the self is not in harmony, there's not much you can really give. So, what's your personal definition towards being successful? Everybody, it's very, very subjective. Everybody has their own thing of being successful. What is your perception or understanding of success now and previously? And also, what are those habits? Because obviously we see so many people. What are those habits that create success
mm,
and destroy?
true. Okay. Let's talk about first like what is success to me.
Yes, what is success?
Success is subjective. And I think
Agreed.
it's for you to answer that, you need to know yourself truly.
Hmm.
What motivates you, what drives you.
You need to be in touch with yourself.
Exactly. Because you need to sit with yourself. I'll tell you what.
Hmm.
So, for example, George Green, he's an author.
Mm-hmm.
He had a saying where he was like, do you know this one thing when you were a kid
Hmm.
and it was always haunting you and you always wanted to do it? So, there is like this drive, inner drive that I wanted to do this and I love doing that and so on and so forth. As we grow in time and we grow older, the environment and the society that we are in start putting different ideas on us
Mm-hmm.
because we have to fit into this bigger society.
Yeah,
In
unfortunately,
the
right?
exactly in the norm, we have to fit into the norm,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and they start taking you out of where you truly are, what you were truly when you were a kid, what you wanted to be, because you wanted now to fit into this society. He was like, in order for you to be happy and successful, ignore the voice and follow your childhood voice. So the thing which you wanted always to be, try to go there. So I would say success for me, honestly, when I look at myself into, let's say, the future, I'm like, what do I want to do? What is it that makes me happy? I'm like, I just want to be in peace. I want to live, let's say, around friends and have the basic needs of life.
Okay,
Place to sleep in, food in my belly, and place to train in.
fair.
Simple things. And for me, this makes me happy.
Having said that, now success, does it incorporate addition or subtraction?
Well,
Now, see, this becomes very interesting.
yeah. Now, well,
So,
it
what are you
depends.
adding and what are you subtracting in life
Well,
in order to be at that success?
I think I'm subtracting, let's say, fitting into a social
Social
circle,
norms.
social norms.
Social norms, fair enough.
But again, can everyone handle being left out?
Yes, many people don't. And I think that's where you need to sort of uh, understand and embrace them as well, that, okay, they are part of that ecosystem. Some people like to be followers, some people like to be leaders. So the ones who are followers, they like to sort of blend in.
True.
The ones who are leaders, they'll
Just
yeah,
do what they want.
they'll do their own thing, and then people start following that.
True.
So yeah, interesting.
So yeah, it depends upon like, but then the question begs itself
Yeah.
is, what makes up those people?
Oh, there's we can sit down and talk about that so much, because people who are followers, there's various things. Why they're followers?
Or exactly,
Yeah.
why are they
Yeah,
followers? That's the
why
question.
they're followers due to it's some it can be down to personality traits. It can be down to not taking up responsibility. They're like, okay, you know what? Give me a task, great, I'll do it.
I'll
And
do
some
it.
people are great at it. You
And they're
need those
happy with
people.
it.
They're very
They're
happy with
just
it,
very.
and they'll complete those tasks. And you need those people in the system as well. And they are those people who will do the task, but they don't want to take up the responsibility. They
True.
need somebody else to take the hit for it
Yeah.
in its simplest terms. Then the other type of people who are followers, it might be societal issues in the sense, let's say, liabilities. Liabilities, they've got maybe responsibility, etc., etc. They're very comfortable in the situation they're in. They don't want to change any aspect of it.
Mhm.
And if they do, it could destroy the house of cards.
Yes, true.
So,
So,
there's so many things that can be.
so can we say that because of the environment and the situation that they are enforced to be followers
To a
somehow?
certain degree,
To a
yes.
certain
To a
degree.
certain degree, absolutely.
Because they cannot leave a circle, because if they left it,
It also comes from where they're coming from.
where they grow.
So
Yeah.
yeah, because you will see, like they say, right? If three people are good, the fourth one will be good as well. So similarly, if they're coming from a working background and everything, so their parents have taught them what their parents knew, and you
True.
have to respect that. Parents, because they're living life for the first time themselves,
True.
so they're trying to do the best that they can. Now, for example, a child who wants to do something,
Hmm.
be an entrepreneur, but the parents, because they were not themselves, and you have to give respect to that, because they were not, so they're looking out by saying, don't do this because there's so many risks
True.
involved.
True.
Don't do this, just blend in, go do your job.
The safe option.
Great, safe option.
Safe option.
And it's fine, it works, because we need that safe option.
Yeah.
Because then if everybody's an entrepreneur, so who's going to run
Who's
around
going to
for
be a
you?
consumer then? There's
Yeah,
no one's
who's
be.
going to do your accounts and teams and driving, and who's going to be your sales?
True.
So you
The
need,
ecosystem will break.
exactly, the ecosystem will break. So we need the followers as much as we need the leaders as well. So I think I have no problem with people who are followers, but then some of them you can push them and tell that I think you can step up.
Yeah.
I think you can. However, it's a personal choice.
Yeah.
No worries. Like same thing in the training ecosystem.
True.
I had a client,
I
I had a
think you can
colleague.
compete if we do more.
Yes, and also I had a colleague. He was a great personal trainer, and I asked him. I was like, "Why don't you ask for a promotion?
Yeah.
Become a FM or something?" He's like, "Nah, bro, too much responsibilities." This was his exact response.
Yes.
And he was like, "I'm great as a trainer, but I don't want to."
Man, and I know
go up.
people who have been promoted and then they asked to be demoted because of the same thing. They were
Because
like, I'm relaxed when I'm over there and I do what I like, day in, day out, I'm good to go.
And it's amazing from where that mindset comes.
Yeah.
Today, mashallah, you've been doing fitness already over a decade. Fairly successful at what you do, and also to self. You're very much in touch with yourself. What is that philosophy that sort of drives you? Everybody has that one saying or something in the back of their mind. Maybe you picked up something when you were younger around you, father, mother, ecosystem. What is that philosophy which you go like, yeah, you know what, this is how it is?
Like, I don't know, always like in my mind, I wouldn't say it's a philosophy or let's say an idea, but I have this voice in my mind which always says, I can, I can,
Okay.
I can. So when I'm doing a lift, a big lift or a competition or so, I always like in my mind, I can. Because when I see others who are able to do it, I'm like, then so am I. So when I get into the gym, when I try to like push myself and so on, sometimes I like scream it like out loud, like, I mean, I can. And like I try to like just push myself in it because it's like what I've been going in.
You scare the people around you.
Sometimes, yeah, like I said, like I'm like have a hoodie over my head, and they're like, what the hell is happening over here?
Like self-motivation right there.
So yeah, so I wouldn't say that it's from family because like I don't think that my family is so driven to this aspect of life.
Okay.
I come from a family who like to take it safe, and that's fine as well, as we mentioned. But I think the drive of how good it feel and how much it differentiates you in your society, it makes you like a black swan. I think I'm attracted to that as well, to be completely honest. Like, I like to see myself as different among others. So I think this also is one of the main things that drives me to keep on pushing.
Right.
And I have in my mind that when I grow older,
Mhm.
like when I'm 60, 70, and so on, I want to look fit and I want to be strong.
Mhm.
So wanting to be there also keeps on making me to push right now, because that's my end goal. Because I know that as we grow older, people always have this idea that, oh, we should be weak, we're like getting older, we
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
have to.
yeah.
I'm like, no, I want to break that.
When people don't, for example, believe in you, for it can be a bad client or an interesting client, and they go like, "Oh yeah, you know what? It's not working out for me." Blah blah blah. Self doubt creeps in, because it might happen that you're trying, you're not being able to crack the client.
True.
The results are not coming. Self doubt creeps in. You're like, where? What am I doing?
Wrong.
Yeah, which component is missing? And how do you deal with that with that feeling? Because see, that feeling can make and break people's
True.
confidence.
True.
It's like that ripple effect that he said something
Yeah.
and he threw the stone in the water. Now the ripples are going. So he said what he had to say and he walked off.
Yeah.
So how do you end up dealing with that? You go like,
Well, I would say that I have to question myself first. Like, did I take the best decisions for this person?
right.
That's number one. If I did, then the question is why it's not working. So, is it that he's not, for example, applying everything that I'm saying
Possibly.
when I'm not seeing? I mean, why is it working for others and why is it not working
More
for him?
often than not, that is the case.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, again, that's where, for example, when I start training people, I'm like, I'm going to be your strength trainer. I'm not going to be your dietitian.
Right.
I can give you an advice on diet. I can give you advice on sleep and your lifestyle. But I can guarantee that I will make you stronger. That if in a case of somebody who comes to me and he's like, I want to do strength and conditioning.
Right.
I want to be a power lifter. I'm like, okay, numbers speak for itself. So if
Absolutely.
he or she were like, we're not doing progress, I'm like, okay, wait, here are the numbers.
Yes.
This is where you
We can
were.
have a look at it.
This is where you are right now. So we are making progress in that aspect. Now the question is, why don't you feel that you aren't making a progress? Maybe because you don't truly know what you want.
True.
So
The
maybe
focus is missing.
yeah. So maybe you thought that you want to be stronger, but deep down you wanted to look leaner, for example.
You interpreted that feeling
Exactly.
wrongly. Understood.
So maybe you came to me with a certain image that you were not able to reflect properly for me, and I programmed it upon that.
Yes.
So logging in
Helps.
helps. So again, what I would say to the clients and members and what I would advise is ask yourself why. And don't be shy to share it with your coach. The coach is there to be for you. Like I'm here to help you, not to help myself. Like I'm not there to train you upon how I see is best. Because how I see is best for me, but might not be the best for you. You are motivated by different triggers in life. So share them and don't shy away from them and work towards those, let's say, in a way.
What is the biggest fear for Rada?
Yeah. To miss out on life, to grow old and never to be able to experience life fully.
A belief that would never change.
Like this recently, I don't know why it's been heavily on my mind. It's heavily been on my mind because I look at my family and also I have like, it's not a bad thing to say, but it's a fear because I see, for example, my mom and dad, they are in a point in life where they grew old now. And like, I don't want to be there when I'm at that age because I can see that they did not experience life fully. And I'm like, how can I break out of this loop
Fair.
of having the freedom to enjoy what I want when I want without being constricted by the society or by the conditions which keep you in a certain place?
Sort of, they can limit. They can limit you.
Limitations.
Understood.
So I don't want to be like just I was born, lived a life where I had to live, and then I died. Like I would rather living a good experience of a life for a short time rather than being old for like 80, 90 years and doing nothing.
Don't you think the first option is way more easier? It's much more comfortable and way easier.
Well, it is actually,
It is in a way.
but that's a fear. Honestly, that's a
It's a
fear
fear.
because like I don't want to like then because the question is why am I doing this if you're not able to enjoy it?
Absolutely.
I don't think that we are meant to just work, pay bills, and live life.
Agreed.
And this is what I see where most of the people are going to. And this is why when you walk around the streets, people are like hollows. They are empty hollows.
Yes.
They are just so disconnected. They're not doing what they like. And it's really sad to see. But again, they can't do anything about it because of the conditions and the situation that people get into, let's say, restrictions, limitations, let's say.
Sometimes I think it's a very 50-50. Sometimes they are in that situation. Sometimes they choose to be, or
True.
rather, they create a circumstance to be
They
in
don't
that
want to put the
situation.
extra effort, maybe sometimes also.
Sometimes, yeah,
True.
absolutely. It could be various factors. Again, comfort level, maybe self discipline, confidence, etc., etc. But that's a huge topic
Yeah.
that we need to talk about. A belief you'll never change.
I believe that I would never change.
Uh-huh.
Always be without filters, like always just be honest. Like as bad as it may sound, be a person with no filters. Like speak up your mind and like I think this have helped me also heavily in my life because I talk to everyone, I speak up my mind. So whatever is on my mind, good, bad, I don't shy away and I just say it. And I think also that helped me in building some good relations and connections with people around me. So don't have filters to who you truly are
Fair.
because you want to fit into a society.
Into the societal norm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. The moment you felt the strongest in your life, it could be physically, it could be emotionally, either.
I would say getting out of a bad place in life where I been through a time where I like also had some work problems and so on and so forth. Being able to break out of that made me feel like I can do it all over again. And if I get to get into that place later on in life, I think I can manage it. So even though it was a very tough place at life, getting out of that hole, let's say, made me feel like I'm invincible in a way, or I can manage it later on, even if I got into it again. So it got me a more confident feeling, and I don't get to be afraid of the future of that happened before.
Yeah.
So it took that limitation or fear of falling in a loop or a hole later on in life, because I've been there. I'm like, okay, done. Let's manage it now. So it's doable.
One advice that you would give to your younger self, and to, of course, one advice you'd like to give to people who are wanting to explore the fitness space as a trainer and, of course, in general fitness.
Yeah. My advice would be is to, let's say the advice for everyone out there, just be physically active.
Okay, fair enough.
It doesn't have to be lifting weights. It doesn't have to be a certain kind of sport. Do something that you enjoy, that keeps you active, and try to be more out, let's say in nature, or let's say a little bit more out. Whether it's swimming, whether it's cycling, whether it's lifting weights, do
Something.
something.
Do something.
Because if there's something that I can guarantee is if you go just out walking, you will feel better. So an action as simple as walking will make you feel better and you're going to be a better version of yourself later on. So just be physically active.
All right.
Try not to complicate things with all the information out there. and start very simple. So if you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. Do something. An advice that I would give myself, who is younger, is don't take life too seriously and try to live life and experience life. And life isn't just about existing. So try to enjoy life because we're not here for a long time. So enjoy the most out of it. And don't be very attached to your beliefs. And again, don't get married to your ideas. Try to change, try to learn, try to grow. You will see that you're going to be able to enjoy and see the beauty of life a little bit more when you are a little bit more flexible.
Mhm. Fair enough.
Don't be so rigid.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
At that note, thank you so much, Reda.
My most
I
pleasure.
need to sit down with you again and talk about so many more things. Looking
My
forward to
absolute
that.
pleasure.
But that would be all for today. Appreciate your time.
My absolute pleasure. Anytime.
Thank you so much, Reda. Today wasn't about fitness, it wasn't about coaching, it wasn't even about his podcast or career. Today was about the man behind all of it, the discipline, the identity, the struggles he doesn't speak of, and the truth he carries quietly. What I respect about him is simple. He built himself physically, mentally, spiritually, brick by brick, not for applause, not for the world, but because he refused to stay as a past version of himself. And conversations like this remind people watching that growth is not aesthetic, it's internal, it's emotional, it can be confrontational, and it has to be earned. Thank you so much for watching.